So after winning the Constructors title 8 years in a row, Mercedes find themselves in 2022 still without a win over the course of the season. It's been a very turbulent year for the team, and while there have been some positives such as making progress recently, it's not been a successful campaign overall with the new regulations, and it's a season the team will be learning from. But team boss Toto Wolff has made an admission, and on top of this, Ferrari team boss Mattia Binotto has opened up on Mercedes' progress in the last few rounds. But before we begin, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe for more Formula 1 content, and you can follow me on Twitter at James_Formula1, and there'll be a link in the description. So as we know, the W13 has proved to be a handful. In the early rounds it suffered from porpoising, and then when Mercedes fixed that, the car was impacted by mechanical bouncing as well as high levels of drag which affected straight line speed. While the team have been competitive at high downforce circuits, especially ones with a smoother surface, the car simply hasn't been consistent enough. Despite this, somehow Mercedes is still in with a chance of taking P2 from Ferrari in the Constructors' Championship, which is crazy considering that Ferrari started the year with the best car. While the team were fighting Red Bull at the start of the season, more recently the F175 has that pace and at some rounds hasn't even been on the pace of Mercedes. But Ferrari team principal Mattia Binotto says the team switched off development of its 2022 car early to shift focus to next year. He was quoted by Autosport as saying, "Mercedes is coming back right as they have developed the car more than we did. We know as well as ourselves that we stopped quite early the development of that car to focus on 2023, so I'm not too concerned by the rate of development because I know when we stopped developing it." So it looks like Ferrari do have their own plan in place, but it could leave them vulnerable in the final 2 rounds. I mean, they are only 40 points ahead of Mercedes in the Constructors' standings, and if they are going to keep P2 then the team can't afford any more poor races like Mexico for example. And while Mercedes will be chasing that P2, team boss Toto Wolff admitted the team's main goal was to achieve a win in the remaining races of the season. He was quoted by Racing News 365 as saying, "The win would prove that our car is back in the fight for wins. Finishing P2 could also be because others just dropped the ball, and you're scoring more points." Now there are only 2 races left this season in Brazil and Abu Dhabi, and I think Mercedes' best chance to win is in Brazil. It's more of a high downforce circuit, so that should suit their car, and like in Mexico it's a high altitude track, so drag again may be less of a factor. So Mercedes have started to make progress later on in the season with updates they've brought to the car. The team were also set to change key concepts of its challenger for next season, with Wolff having previously said the team are changing the DNA of the car. And all of this points towards the team potentially being in contention for wins next year. But while Wolff believes that the team understand where they're losing out to Red Bull for example, he feels the team may face a struggle next season with the team having spent most of this year figuring out problems. He said, "Red Bull certainly have an advantage, but we believe that we understand where the gap comes from. Red Bull will carry over some of that sweetness in their car, and we've maybe lost 8 to 10 months in terms of development because we couldn't figure out what was wrong with our car. So to be that far behind in car development could really affect Mercedes next season, even if the team have more recently started to make progress this year." But Wolff does believe Mercedes will return to the front in time. He added, "So there's definitely a challenge, but we're playing the long game, all of us. Both drivers are playing the long game, and I want to judge the team's performance not based on a single weekend or year, but how we've been able to win championships over the long term." But how do you think Mercedes will fare next season? Let me know in the comments below. But that's going to be the video from me today. Thank you ever so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for more videos, and until the next one, take care. Bye.